Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting a little mini series covering some topics and some definitions, and I'd like to get started with the first one today, which is gaslighting. So you may have heard this term being thrown around. What is gaslighting? So let's start off with the definition, then I'm going to give you some examples. So the definition of gaslighting is to manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. I guess the easiest way to recognize it is if you feel that you need to record somebody. I don't know if you've been in a relationship or had a discussion with somebody and they're making you question your own sanity, and it's like, do you even hear yourself speak? I should have recorded that so you can hear. That's not what we discussed. Well, that's gaslighting. And we see this on a massive scale right now. And of course, I focus on gender ideology in schools, and I wanted to show you exactly what I mean by this. So gaslighting is making you question your own sanity. Now, this is very evident when it comes to gender ideology, because reasonable parents see the harm that this ideology is doing to their children. So I always think of it this way. I bring myself back to the basics. What am I actually defending? So I'm defending children's rights. And by doing this, I do not want to advocate for medical treatments that could result in sterilization and mutilation of children. And as a society, we have come to this point where this is a normal thing. And you could see we are being gaslit as a society en masse into believing that this is true. And if you do question the narrative, then you are made to feel like you are the one that's going crazy. This is gaslighting. This is what it feels like. It feels like you are the one that's going crazy. It feels like you are the one defying reality. So it all starts from the beginning with the lie that you are born into a different body. Now, if you start believing this, you're going to go into treatments and all this medical stuff, which could result into the mutilation, medical mutilation, and sterilization. Now, this problem with the gaslighting is you're made to feel like you're in the wrong because of the language used. Language like, this medical intervention is life-saving. Now, when you think about something that's life-saving, you're thinking if these people don't have it, they're going to die. And this is absolutely not the case. This medical treatment is not life-saving. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it's probably the opposite, because the people who take this medical intervention have a medical identity. Really, the only way that they can see themselves is by having these medical procedures, because they cannot accept who they are. So the gaslighting is making you feel, like I said, like you are the one that's going insane. When really, as a normal person, what you want to do is say, I accept myself the way I am. I was born in this body and I'm going to accept it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the gaslighting, of course, is you're wrong about that. You could be born in a different body. You should be anything. You could be anything, as a matter of fact. And if you don't go along with the narrative, you are transphobic, you are homophobic, you are all of this. These are gaslighting words. Really, the irony in all of this is people that speak out against it, like myself, I actually have no fear of trans people. I would say the people who are saying these words, they are the ones actually transphobic, because the trans activist community is very vicious. So they have a fear that if they don't speak the narrative, if they don't say the lines, the backlash is going to be strong. And of course, I see the backlash. and all of this, and you're made to feel afraid that if you say the truth right now sounds like insanity, and insanity sounds like the truth, because we live in an upside down world. And the reason that we've gotten to this place is because of gaslighting. So when you see narratives like "you're transphobic," all of these words, these are gaslighting words into making you feel like you're the bad one. Now, nobody wants to feel like they are bad. And of course, everybody wants to be part of the solution. The problem is that people are very compassionate. And I say that's a problem, not because it's a bad thing to be compassionate, but because compassion and empathy, these things are being weaponized and used against good people to justify bad behavior. I'm talking behavior like mutilating children, and if you don't participate in this, and if you don't agree with it, then you're the one that's really hurting children, and it's your fault. Of course, this is not true, and everybody wants to be compassionate, and everybody wants to help out. So, if you ever feel under pressure, if you ever feel like you're the one being gaslit, just remind yourself, what are we really talking about? Because when it comes to gender ideology, saying the truth and standing up as a parent is the right thing to do, and protecting your children from being sexualized and having genital mutilation and being dependent on medication for a lifetime. I hope this helped to explain the gaslighting, and there's a lot of psychological reasons behind it, and there's a lot of ways. But an easy way to identify it is if somebody makes you feel like you're crazy because you're just observing reality. And that's another thing. These people believe that sex is a sign, when in fact sex is observed. Don't fool yourself, because when children are born, and all children came out of a woman, everybody on this planet, 7 billion people, all of us came out of a woman. And the doctor looks, if they see a penis, it's a male. If they don't, it's a female. And everybody is the same, and sex is not a sign. Sex is observed. So I would encourage you to not let yourself be intimidated by these words. Don't let yourself being gaslit. And just remember what the truth is, and just speak the truth no matter what. You got to overcome all of these things that people are saying, and you got to stay strong. And this is what strength looks like. No matter what people are saying, you are going to stick to it, and you are going to move forward and advocate for the safety of children, advocate for the safety of women, and not have men invade their private spaces because they identify as women. At the end of the day, these people are the ones breaking reality. These people are the ones advocating men want to go into women's spaces. Children need to get mutilated and have their gender affirmed, even if it defies reality. Just stay strong into what you believe, and know that we are going through a hard time as a culture. The only way to get through it is by noticing what is happening to you is something that's happening to everybody. Stay strong, speak the truth, and don't be afraid to just stick to the basics. Always remind yourself, do you feel like you're the ones going crazy? And if so, you're probably being gaslit.